What's up, FGC? This is your boy Prime, and right now you are inside the circle.
Alright, so we're here inside the circle, our first episode with the president, Mr. Marcus Prime Thomas.
What's up?
Alright, so we just have a couple questions just for the viewers out there to get a little more knowledge about the members of the circle. Alright, so tell us a little about who you are.
The president of the circle, Prime, real name Marcus Thomas. We play video games in general. I focus on fighting games in particular, Street Fighter, Tekken, Naruto. Now that's a recent addition to the whole set. And also play some adventure games like Metal Gear. I am a gamer. I am a communications, public relations professional, a rap artist, producer. The list could go on and on.
Alright, so tell us about the circle. Tell us how they got started, and a little bit about the members and the whole background.
The circle that started from a bunch of us gamers that we met through school, also just through video game, by meeting in the arcade, and develop a friendship over years. That we started visiting at each other's home and playing video games on a weekend, Saturday, Sunday afternoon, for long hours. And through the love for the fighting games, we just met other people, and we just started to gel and grow closer and develop a sort of a family atmosphere. And then one day I just got the idea that why not make our video gaming group of friends turn it into a club, a formal organization. And the guys that I was involved with in the FGC, they agreed, and we started taking it seriously and started hosting tournaments and all of that. That was back, we actually started hosting tournaments something like 2010, but we've all been rivaling each other in the various video games and in the various fighting games from ever since the early 2000s. So that's all kind of things like Killer Instinct come all the way back, and that was Killer Instinct from Super Nintendo, then 64, and that come all the way up to present day.
Alright, so what is your real inspiration really behind fighting games?
With me, fighting games, the inspiration comes from actually testing yourself, testing your wit, testing your tolerance, and really seeing the type of skill that you could pull out within that 99 seconds or that 60-second bracket, that you will be pitted against someone who is either of equal strength and caliber in that game or stronger, and seeing just how best you could adjust or dominate, or unfortunately in some cases lose. But fighting game always to me would bring out the best in me and in the people who I might fight as well, as far as video games is concerned. That they will bring out a really strong side of me.
Alright, so if you had to choose one fighting game, what would be your favorite?
I like the Tekken series overall. I play a lot of the Street Fighter because there's a lot of attention that you get for the Street Fighter. A lot of people, you get a lot of attention for that, and the Street Fighter itself gets a lot of attention. But if I had to choose one fighting game, it would be Tekken. I have more aptitude for that. I play that at a higher level with greater skill. I prefer Tekken.
Okay, why Tekken?
Street Fighter has a certain culture in the way the game is built, the structure of Street Fighter, and I always find a lot of flaws in the game. There's a lot of things that I really don't like about Street Fighter in a general sense. Although I find the Street Fighter 4 series is the best work they ever did with Street Fighter, but Tekken has a different feel, a different dynamic. The physics is a lot different. There's a lot less things that you have to kind of process and deal with. It doesn't have much cross-ups and stuff that you will find in Street Fighter, or maybe in some other fighting games as well. and it's straight up a hand-to-hand brawl basically to me. And there's a lot of flexibility in opening up your opponent to get to do things, whereas Street Fighter is sort of one-dimensional. You can only kind of start a sequence or a combo in one way. In Tekken, you have a number of ways that you could start it.
Okay, so who's your favorite character in the game and why?
If I had to choose any one character as a favorite, it would be Jin, because I like the background story. I like the complexity in the stuff that's structured around him, everything that builds the character. He has a nice fighting style. It's very creative too. I'll choose Jin, but I have most of my Tekken success with Paul Phoenix and Brian Fury.
Alright, how much overall experience do you have in fighting games?
Well, overall experience, if you want to talk overall experience, been playing fighting games since '93. That is when Street Fighter 2 came out, what we might call old edition. Old Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 2, and been playing it since then on arcade games, just like anybody else. Started out on the big cabin, and we went from that to Super Nintendo, playing Street Fighter Turbo, Super Street Fighter, and still casually going back and forth. But as far as experience, as in tournaments, is not much. I've been to one tournament where Lucasade and they had sponsored, and that was back in 2008, I think, back in 2008. And the only reason why I was disqualified from that tournament, that was a Tekken tournament, was because I had missed one of the days due to school, some studies I was doing at the time. But Rondon and I was doing real good in that tournament. Other than that, I remember in the Alpha 3 days in Gulf City Mall, I would dominate a lot with Sakura and Cody in the Alpha 3. But the only problem with back then and now is you don't really have any way to record, to look back on what it is you had achieved back then. The only thing you could go now is word of mouth, and you hardly ever find anybody who would vividly remember when they were beaten back then.
Alright, and in terms of Tekken, what is your opinion on the evolution of the game?
The evolution of Tekken is if you look at the first edition, the first Tekken that they had, to what you see now going to happen with Tekken 7, you couldn't tell it was the same game and the same people who put it together. But I like the way that it has evolved. The Tekken itself has gotten a lot more. It's definitely a dynamic series. There's a lot of different things that they made possible to do, and you know, now you could really get to explore the game in different ways. They add a lot of different characters. They also try to add a lot of authentic fighting styles to what they're doing, and that really makes the dynamic that much better.
Alright, and in terms of future versions of the game, what is your hope to see?
I've been paying close attention to what I see on YouTube and also on Event Hubs about Tekken 7, and that Tekken 7 is supposed to be coming soon, late 2015, I think. I look forward to it. It looks nice. However, it looks like they took a lot of stuff from Street Fighter and added to the game, and it sort of takes away from the whole Tekken experience, because that's a big reason to why I like Tekken, because it was so vast. It's such a vast difference from Tekken to Street Fighter, but now they're adding a lot of Street Fighter type dynamics to it, and it leans too much on that side for me. But I understand what the producers are trying to do, as they are trying to, you know, bring more people into the Tekken series and you know, get more people playing Tekken on a regular basis. But as a Tekken purist, I don't feel like, you know, that's something that they should do. But they haven't disappointed me yet, so let's just wait and see what they're gonna do.
Alright, and you said, you know, the circle, the organization focuses more on fighting games. Alright, can you tell us a little bit about the different tournaments that you all have hosted in the past and upcoming tournaments that you all are planning for the future?
Yeah, we hosted one tournament in Labre. That was in the very early stages, and that tournament was good. We got a fair enough turnout in Labre alone, but then we really started to take it to the next level in 2013, 2012, 2013 with Reveal, and we got a great response for the Circle Reveal. That was the first Street Fighter tournament we did, and we did that in Gulf City Mall. Got a lot of response from that, and we got a gem of opportunity to actually get to meet and communicate with a wider cross section of the fighting game community. We got to communicate with them and understand what they want, what they're expecting to see in tournaments, and how best we can really bridge that gap and get to deliver what it is they need. So now we've also established other tournaments such as Seasons Beatings, which is becoming a really good staple now for the Christmas season. Just after Christmas, that one always happens. And then we have the major tournament, which is Fight Fest. But before we could get to Fight Fest, there's a series of tournaments leading up to that, which is Path of the Ninja, which is a Naruto tournament that's supposed to be happening in April of 2015. And then in May we have the King of All Iron Fist, which is the Tekken Tag tournament. That's going to be Tekken Tag 2, and all of that's going to be building up to Fight Fest, which is all three tournaments over the span of 3 days in Gulf City Mall. Completion with finishing with Ultra Street Fighter 4, of course.
Alright, so other than fighting games, do you see the Circle hosting other tournaments in terms of, let's say, FIFA or Resident Evil, or something different, out of the ordinary?
Well, there's definitely an interest in other games. The FGC itself too asks for other fighting games, and they also ask for games of different genres. And we decided also to put out a FIFA tournament, and we've been getting some good response from that. And it's exciting. They ask also for like COD and these things, but there are a few things that we still have to work out before we venture down those roads. But the FIFA tournament is definitely going to happen.
Alright, and what do you see in terms of the Circle's growth? Where would you like to see the Circle be in the next 5 years?
Evo, a regular at Evo.
Okay.
We have good players, especially if you're talking about General Luke. He's already known in the international FGC. But we have good players, but the biggest challenge that we face as an organization really is exposure, and exposure on a regular basis. Because you could get used to fighting against a few guys and kind of learn those guys, learn their bad habits, with their tendencies, and how to deal with that. But it can't compare to when you go out to an international tournament, because when you do that, it's a different culture to begin with, and a lot of different guys who are constantly exposed to different people as well. So you have to really be prepared for anything, and the only way you can really do that is if you really expose yourself to different people, different fighters, and see really what they have to give.
Alright, so this is Prime of the Circle. What we're going to do is get into some gameplay. Alright, and we are signing out until next time. This is the Circle inside the Circle.
Alright, so thank you very much for your time. First, I'm going to throw in my combo video with Ibuki. It's not much, a nice little combo video I decided to put together, and you'll get to see a few battles between Chaos Kage and I in the Naruto, then Smithbad and I, Street Fighter and Tekken 6. So thank you very much, and that's it. You've been inside the Circle.